It's a new era for trucks. This Ford F-150 Lightning is the first all-electric pickup truck from a mainstream brand, and we've got one to test. What's up, folks? I'm Dave Underkoffler, editor-in-chief of Autolist.com, back with another one-week test drive. This week's victim is a 2023 Ford F-150 Lightning. It has 580 horsepower, 320 miles of all-electric range, and a price tag on this version of over $80,000, and it's not even fully loaded. So we're gonna spend a week with it and tell you how it stacks up against the iconic gas F-150 and whether it's worth that steep price tag. All right, let's start with a walk around of the F-150 Lightning. Main thing you see here is it's still a truck. I love that it is still a truck. They haven't made it look all that different from the gas version of the F-150. That's different than what Chevy's doing with the Silverado EV and Ram's gonna do with the Revolution. This still looks very much like a truck. And I like that. You do get some differences, right? You got the light bar across the top here and that filled in grille, a little better aerodynamics. So it looks different than the gas F-150, but not too different. Right here, we've got 20-inch alloy wheels. You're gonna get 22-inch on the Platinum version. This is the Lariat. And then on the Base Pro and the XLT, you'll get 18-inch. Got Lightning badging right there. That's kind of cool. This red is called Rapid Red. It's a $500 option. I really like it. The other models I've seen so far of the Lightning have been white or black, so this is a nice departure. And power tailgate. 5.5 foot bed, very standard, very normal. I do love that under here, you've got power outlets all day. You can charge all sorts of whatever you need, right? Tools, speakers, coolers, grills. That's nice. Again, you got the bed liner, that's an option. We'll fold this back up. And on the back, you can see, again, looks largely like a gas F-150. They didn't reinvent the wheel. Really like that. You do have a few differences. These taillights are a little different, and then there's a horizontal light bar. Looks a little different. Little Lightning badge there. And I'll go up front to my favorite feature, the frunk, right? So because there's no gas engine hogging up all kinds of space, Ford did the smart thing and gave us this frunk. This is 14 cubic feet of space, very useful. Keeps everything out of the way and locked up rather than being in the bed. You've got extra space down here. That's the charge cable. You also have more outlets. There's just outlets everywhere in this truck. It's so useful. 4 outlets there and some USB ports. Very smart thinking. You've got some tie-down hooks here. Cargo net. There's even a light. The lights are up there. Super helpful. So yeah, love the frunk. And we'll close that back up. So what do you guys think? Do you like the way this looks, or do you wish it looked a little more different from the gas version? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. All right, let's show you the interior of this F-150 Lightning. A lot of cool features to go over. Probably the first thing you notice is this screen. This is a 15.5-inch screen. Obviously, it's portrait mode. This is standard on this Lariat trim and the Platinum trim. The base model, that's the Base Pro, and then the XLT is gonna get a 12-inch screen, and it's landscape mode, so it's gonna be horizontally oriented. No matter which screen you choose, you do get wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. So a lot of nice features built into this screen. First of all, you can get to Apple CarPlay very easily. It's always up there. That's kind of nice. We'll go down here, back to these buttons down here. If you see the sliding menu, this is basically tabs of recently opened functions. So if you're going back and forth between two of them a lot, they're always here. And that's really, I like the way that that's built in. So we can go back to Sirius satellite radio. I'm a child of the 90s, so obviously we've got lithium cranked up here. But I can go back to navigation with just a touch of a button, or I can go back to the charging. So that's pretty cool. I like that functionality. If there is one down here that you're not using anymore, you sort of drag it down and it will delete it. So that's pretty cool. Go back to the main setup. So these are sort of all of your functions. So really nicely built and set up. The screen's pretty responsive. Could be a little quicker, but by and large, it's very crisp graphics. I do like that. Then you've got down here your dedicated climate control. This is your volume knob. But then when you go to change the temperature, you can also use this for that as well. Ditto when you use the heated and cooled seats. Again, this is the Lariat version, so we do get heated and cooled seats. Quite nice. Other cool features, this shifter. You've seen this on the gas version of the F-150. Folds down flat, Seems like a gimmick maybe, but nope. It allows you to fold this workstation perfectly flat, put a laptop there, maybe your lunch or whatever. That's just kind of a cool feature. You push that, this pops back up. Tons of cubbies and storage throughout. You have wireless smartphone charging right there. All models also have this digital display right here. That's pretty cool. And if you are an eagle-eyed observer, you notice this. So our model, this Lariat, has the optional BlueCruise, which is Ford's hands-free driving system. So this is the driver monitoring camera right there, just in case you were wondering. Otherwise, yeah, heated and cooled leather seats, quite comfortable. I really like that. In the back, they're also heated, but not cooled. I'll show you those in a minute. And then just some nice trim, right? You've got this sort of this contrast stitching throughout. You've got, I don't know if you can see, this trim is like kind of almost bronzed. That's kind of a nice feature. You've got a pair of glove boxes. That's pretty cool. Tons of outlets, right? As you would expect. So a lot of utility built in, but also a lot of comfort. And then finally, we've got a panoramic moonroof. That is an option on our Lariat version. So let's show you the back seats. All right, rear seat. Now, all full-size trucks, whether they're gas or all electric like this Lightning, are gonna have a ton of room back here. This truck is no different. We've had our 3-year-old back here this morning, and she loved the fact that she could have her legs completely out in front of her, straight, and she wasn't even touching that seat back. That also means they can't kick the seats, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, tons of space. These seats also fold up out of their way for more room. That's a nice feature. And then you have amenities like heated seats for the rear passengers. You've got tons of charge ports. And then just some nice trim, right? There's that contrast stitching I was talking about. This is sort of almost like a denim, right? A little different than normal. Some fake wood trim there. And then this has a Bang & Olufsen, I think it's 8 speakers on the Lariat. If you jump up to the Platinum, it gets you 18 speakers, but this is plenty for this truck. Fold that back down. So yeah, a lot of utility mixed with some really good comfort back here. And as I mentioned, this has the panoramic moonroof, which is half open right now. All right, let's go drive it. All right, let's talk powertrains and driving impressions. In terms of powertrains, there are 2 different size batteries you can get on this F-150. The base is a 98 kilowatt hour battery. It gives you 452 horsepower and 775 pound-feet of torque. That's pretty monstrous. If you step up to the larger battery, it's a 131 kilowatt hour battery. And with that, you get 580 horsepower and the same torque, 775. In terms of range, the base battery has 240 miles of range. That's per the EPA. This larger battery that we're testing has 320 miles of range, and again, that's an EPA rating. So we've been testing this vehicle for about a week now, and what I've found is that the range is really accurate and really good for most of your daily driving around town. Maybe you get on the freeway every now and then. It's pretty accurate, and we're getting pretty good range. Where the range absolutely drops off a cliff is when you get this thing on the freeway and you start cruising at freeway speeds. Here in California, if you hit 75 miles an hour, you're gonna watch the range drop precipitously, which kind of makes sense, right? This is a big vehicle, it's a heavy vehicle, and it's kind of shaped like a brick, right? This isn't a Porsche Taycan that sort of slips through the wind. This is a big truck, so it's not going to be as efficient. So if highway range is important to you, do keep that in mind. But around town, we really are impressed. So how does all that power translate into a driving experience in this F-150? Really good. Car and Driver tested this with the extended range battery, and this truck does 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. So let me just do a little quick demonstration of that. Hang on your hats. Whew. All right, so that wasn't 0 to 60, but the acceleration on this thing is phenomenal, and that's also even more impressive given how heavy this truck is. So you have no lack of power, so that's really nice. But it's not just the power, it's the quiet and the comfort of this truck. It feels like a luxury vehicle. I would put this up against almost any other vehicle today in terms of the noise isolation from the road, the ride quality, and again, just how silent the cabin is basically at any speed. That's really impressive. So just how much does this F-150 Lightning weigh? Well, it's just over 6,800 pounds. Now, to put that into context, the average family sedan these days weighs about half that. But give Ford a little credit. This truck is actually 300 pounds lighter than the Rivian R1T, which is a smaller all-electric truck. So credit where credit is due. That being said, you do feel how heavy this truck is as you drive it. The steering is a little ponderous, and the biggest effect you notice is that there's a lot of suspension dive under braking. So just something to prepare yourself for as you're driving it. It's not a deal breaker by any means. I will say that this F-150 has an excellent regenerative braking system. We took this truck up into the mountains, and on the way back down, I was really impressed by how much range it added through the braking system. So that's really nice. You also have the option of using one pedal driving. I've had it in that setting for most of the test, and basically just means you come off the throttle and the brakes engage like this. We're slowing down, I know you can't tell, and you're recapturing more energy in the process. And that's a nice system. It takes a little getting used to, but once you do, you're going to want to use it all the time. All right, folks, there you have it, our 1-week test drive of the 2023 Ford F-150 Lightning. We've really enjoyed our time with this truck. It's quiet, it's incredibly fast, and it still has all of the utility that you would expect from Ford's iconic F-150. We don't love how much range it loses in freeway driving or the price tag. This is $81,000 as you see here, and it's not even the fully loaded Platinum version. So if you are shopping for an F-150 Lightning, we'd opt for the XLT or the Pro. Otherwise, this is definitely an electric truck that we would recommend. So for reviews or listings of this F-150 Lightning or anything else you're shopping for, new or used, be sure to check out autolist.com. And before you go, like and subscribe to this channel so you can get alerts on all of our future updates. We'll see you out there.